good morning everyone. Today I, Samia Sheikh, is going to be explaining the topic aggregates of national income. So, what do you understand by aggregates? Aggregate is the concept that helps us to calculate the value of goods and services, final goods and services produced in the economy. So, in the economy many goods are produced, we know that. So, for example, milk, ghee and furniture. So, milk we measure it in liters, ghee in kgs and furniture in pieces. So, if we calculate these on the basis of these, if we calculate this on the measures on these measures, it will be really difficult and complicated. So, we don't calculate this on the basis on these measures, we calculate this on the basis of money. So, there are total 8 aggregates. These aggregates are made out of these 4 components, which is gross, net, domestic national product, factor cost and market price. We will study these in detail. So, the first one is gross and net. So, I will explain with the help of example. If I buy a furniture today of 10,000 rupees, with time it will depreciate, and after 2 to 3 years if I want to sell that asset, it will be around 4 to 5,000. That value will be the net value. So, basically gross is value before depreciation and net is value after depreciation. So, if we minus depreciation, it becomes net, and when we add depreciation, it becomes gross. So, we can write this as gross minus depreciation, it becomes net, and net plus depreciation, it becomes gross. So, depreciation is also known as consumption of fixed capital, which is mostly used, replacement cost of fixed capital, current replacement cost. Moving on to the next component, which is domestic and national. So, domestic means goods which are produced within the territory, and national we add the value which comes from the outside territory. So, NFIA. So, NFIA is basically full form is net factor income from abroad So, this has a formula which is basically net factor is equals to net factor income from abroad minus net factor paid to abroad. So, in simple terms we can say it is from minus to. So, this can be also negative when the net factor income paid to abroad is more than the net factor income from abroad. So, when we add NFIA, it becomes national, and when we minus NFIA, it becomes domestic. So, examples of NFIA is profit earned by an Indian bank from its branches abroad, net commission of employees, net income from properties and entrepreneurship. The third component is product. Product is constant as it represents the total production in the economy. The fourth component is factor cost and market price. Factor cost basically means the cost of production, and market price is the available market price. I'll give an example. The example is, if I buy myself a pizza today, I will pay the price of the pizza as well as the tax. This will be the market price. But if I pay the price only of the pizza, it will be the factor cost. So, the NIT basically means net indirect taxes. So, its formula, it also has a formula which is indirect taxes indirect taxes minus subsidies. So indirect taxes which government get and subsidies are which government pay for different activities. So when we add NIT, we get market price, and when we minus NIT, we get factor cost. So the examples of NIT are indirect taxes, excise duty, custom duties, corporation tax. Subsidies are fertilizer subsidy, fuel subsidies and tax subsidies, and many more. These are the few examples. So which we saw before, 8 aggregates. These we will study in with the help of this diagram. So we studied gross over here first, net, national, domestic. Sorry, I will just add domestic, then national, product, market price, factor cost and market price. So when we see this, here taking all gross domestic product at factor cost, which is called as GDP-FC, and gross national product at factor cost, which is GNP-FC, and gross domestic product at market price, which is GDP-MP, and gross national product at market price, which is GNP-MP. So moving on to the net, we take net domestic product at factor cost, which is NDP-FC, which is also called as domestic income, and then net national product at factor cost, which is also called as NNP-FC, which is also called as national income. Then net domestic product at market price, which is NDP-MP, and net national product at market price, which is NNP-MP. So here I have put an question which will solve. So GDP-MP is equals to 20,000 rupees. Consumption of fixed capital is 1,000. Consumption fixed capital, it is depreciation. Net factor income from abroad, it is 1,500, and net factor income to abroad is 500. NIT is 1,000, and we have to calculate NNP-FC, which is national income. So writing this up. So NNP is equals to GDP-MP. So we know to go from gross to net, we have to minus depreciation from gross to net, and from domestic to net, we have to add NFIA. So we are not given NFI directly, so we know the formula. It is net factor income from abroad to net factor income to abroad. So we will simply write it as from minus to, and to go from MP to FC, we will minus NIT. So putting up the values, it is 20,000 minus depreciation, which is consumption fixed capital, it is 1,000, plus NFI is 1,500 minus 500 minus NIT is 1,000. So it will be 20,000 minus 1,000 plus 1,000 minus 1,000. Cutting the thousands, it will be rupees 19,000 crores. Like this, we calculate the NNP-FC. Thank you. This is the end of the talk. Any questions? Yeah.
From where does net income, NFI come from?
NFI, I told the formula, right? Net factor income.
Where does it come from? Where the income does it?
So I told like the properties, like the money we get from the outside, abroad banks from India, and the compensation and remunerations, which I gave the examples of NFIA. Yeah.
So the money that we get as net factor income from abroad, does this include the earnings of some particular individuals, or is it?
Yeah, it's as we are the people who live outside India, it also includes in that NFI. I hope it's like that. I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
Particular example of indirect tax.
Indirect tax, there is indirect taxes, so we can tell about excise duties, custom duties, and corporation tax. Any more questions?
What is market price and factor cost?
Market price is the, I told the example, the available market price, which include the tax, but factor cost, it is the cost of the production. So normally when we go and buy something, it is the market price, but if we, as a producer, if I see, I will look at the factor cost and then add the taxes in that.
So the difference between that is?
The taxes. If we add the tax and profit in that, so it will be the market price. Yeah.
If net factor income from abroad is already given, why do we have to subtract net factor?
Paid to abroad. So we get net factor income from abroad, the money we are getting from abroad, and this is paid. We pay to the for like abroad people.
So this net factor which you have written there, is it same as NFI?
Yeah, it's NFI only. Just for the formula, we write as net factor is equal to net factor income from abroad minus paid to.
Why do we deduct depreciation in the calculation of national income from GDP?
Because can you repeat once again?
Why do we deduct depreciation in the calculation of national income from GDP?
Because we calculate net indirect taxes is NNPFC. Gross, in gross we add depreciation, but in national income we minus because national income whole sum is like NNPFC, right? So for that we minus depreciation. Hope it answers. Any more questions?
If a foreigner lives in India and is a resident in India, spending money in India, will his spendings and his incomes will it be calculated in India's GDP?
No, I don't think so. I'm not sure about it, but I don't think so. It should be calculated as he is the foreigner and his income should not be calculated. I am not sure about that. Am I done? Thank you. Thank you.